We got up early this day to drive to the put-in point. People going on the trip with us are my dad, who's driving, his friend Brian Catrillo sitting passenger, my uncle Larry, and Kyron, my cousin, in the back. When we got there, we met my uncle Dave and my cousin Dean, who were on the bike trip with us too. The first thing we did was take all our boats and supplies down to the river. It's the west branch of the Susquehanna. We're at the Rolling Stone Bridge as our put-in point. Make sure everyone knows where they're sitting, has everything they need, has our life jackets, and then my pap Gene showed up. He's going to move the cars for us.
Hi, Gene. Friend of Chris's. Well, if we've met or not. I didn't know you had any friends. I'm one of the few. I'm one of the few. How much did he pay you? He's the last man standing.
For the first part of our trip, I'll be in the kayak, because I'm the only one that can handle myself in Moshannon Falls.
And we're off. Thanks again, Gene. Hey, we'll see you guys. Take care. Last boat's in the water.
You know my old car needs washing, and the front yard needs a trim, and the telephone keeps ringing, and the boss man knows I know it's him, and the bills ain't gonna pay themselves. Don't matter anyway, 'cause I ain't in no hurry today. Nothing wrong with an old cane fishing pole and the smell of early spring. Sit down in a fold-up easy chair on a quiet, shady river bank. Let the world go on without me. Wouldn't have it any other way, 'cause I ain't in no hurry today.
Now this is the Moshannon Falls. It's the biggest rapids that we have to go on this trip. It's only a class 2 in normal conditions, but in high water the waves can be 4 feet tall. They'll easily flip over a boat. And since this area was experiencing flooding just the night before, this definitely qualifies as high water.
Oh, I didn't want to go in here.
Now Dad and Catrillo went through ahead of us and waited for us at the bottom. Uncle Dave and Dean were right about with me. Kyron and Uncle Larry, however, they fell behind.
Where's Kyron and Uncle Larry?
Turned out to be a bit of a mistake for them.
I don't see him coming down here. Were they close to you guys? What are they doing? They're coming up close to this big rock on the side. Uh-oh, they're turning sideways. Are they stuck on a rock?
I was walking up to go see how they were doing when it happened.
Oh, they're in the water. Canoe flipped over. You guys all right? Yeah. All right.
We ran back downstream and got in the water to help pick up some of the stuff that had fallen out of the boat. Uncle Dave was already in the kayak getting most of it. Kyron didn't even believe that was the falls. Thought it was too easy.
Yeah. You were so far away, though, I couldn't really see the fall very well. Is that it? Huh? Is that it? Huh? Is that it? I think that's everything. Yeah, everything else stayed in the boat. Yeah, that's the falls. That's the hardest thing you gotta face. You need help?
We flipped the canoe over to get all the water out, and we figured since we were at this little beach area, we stop and take a break. Talk mostly about Catrillo's diet. He's a triathlete, so he eats really healthy. Then Kyron figured since he's already wet, he might as well get in the water and go for a swim. And I joined him.
So how'd that feel, huh?
Kyron in the water. Figured he'd go for a swim since he's already all wet.
After that, we were back on the water. Had some fun with the GoPro, playing around with it. I also did a little football game where I'd go out for a pass in the kayak and Dean would throw it to me.
Oh, I got it.
We did a couple more little sections of rapids and some rocky sections too.
Big rock to my side. Oh, you guys are scraping.
This bridge is where we stopped to eat our lunch. Just on the other side there's this beach area where there was a lot of butterflies for some reason. Then we can walk up to a restaurant called the Riverfront Bar and Grill. Now all the other guys remembered to take off their life jackets, but I forgot I had mine on. So when we were walking up, they just kept quoting Back to the Future left and right.
They better get hold of this guy's life preserver. Dork thinks he's gonna drown.
After we finished our meal, it was time to go back to the river, with a little bit of a change. Karen was going to be in the kayak, and I'd be in the canoe with Uncle Larry in the back.
Ain't in no hurry, be a fool now to worry about all those things I can't change. And the time that I borrow can wait till tomorrow, 'cause I ain't in no hurry, ain't in no hurry, ain't in no hurry today.
Here we're paddling up to a spot where we stopped the last time we were on the trip. Of course, last time I remember there being a trail, and this time we were just cutting down branches to make our own.
Apparently my dad said there was. This isn't really a trail. Dad's just cutting down branches.
The place we were going to is this old abandoned caboose car. It's been up there for years.
Snake skins all over the place. Here's one right here. What, rattlesnake? I can't tell if it's rattlesnake, but it's a snake.
Karen was a little freaked out by a spider he claims he saw.
Where? Come on, Kyron.
Of course, Uncle Dave wasn't too excited about it either. Tried to figure out how old it was based on some of the things we could see inside of it.
There's some type of electrical equipment in here.
I thought if it had electricity in there, it couldn't have been too ancient.
There's a beer can in there that's pretty modern.
It's kind of cool to see it and think about the people that lived in there on the trains.
Lovely kitchen.
The kitchen was nice, but the bathroom was in pristine condition, probably nicer than the one we'd had that night. Kyron also found a Kool-Aid Man cup. After our little adventure, stretch of the legs, we decided to go back down to the river. This time I'd be in the back of the canoe and Kyron would be in the front. Kyron decided he wanted to walk alongside the boat and cool off in the water for a little bit, which was fine until he decided it was time to get back in the boat.
You can do it? No, it's not. Oh! It's not dragging, he just wanted to walk for a little.
After our stop at the train car, the rest of the day was pretty much just looking for a campsite.
We're coming in for the camp. So you guys got camp up, Chuck, like you wanted?
This campsite is called Camp Up Chuck after a time that my dad actually threw up there on one of the first canoe trips. Our first responsibility when we get there is to gather firewood, which turned into more of a competition to see who could carry the biggest log.
Dad and Uncle Larry, me and Kyron.
This is the grand tour of Camp Up Chuck.
Mr. Brian Catrilla's over there in his personal tent. Dean's setting up a hammock.
This is the process of setting up an Eno.
Eno. Dino's Eno. Are you upside down?
No.
Where are you?
The Eno hammock kept us entertained for a little bit.
It looked like you flipped yourself over.
That's what I can.
Oh, I know you. Okay. Oh, whoa, look out. He's...
Bugs were also a bit of a problem, but nothing we couldn't handle.
This is 100% DEET, so you want to be careful with this bad boy stuff.
Me, Kyron, and Dean all played with the football that Dean brought, a little monkey in the middle. It started a conversation where the dads thought that they could beat us in a football game. Now, they didn't want to play there. They claimed they needed an actual field. I think they were just really afraid of losing. Dinner was hot dogs, baked potatoes, and tamales, all cooked over the fire, and all delicious.
First time trying to use the solar charger. It's working pretty good.
Now this trip has been a lot of fun for us, but it's important to remember it can go south at any moment. Just last year a man disappeared on this river, and after 2 weeks they found his body. They think he drowned in Moshannon Falls. And in the same summer, a person doing the same trip we are was bitten by a rattlesnake and died. They couldn't get him to the hospital on time. But still, we don't let that dampen our spirits.
We will rock you. We will rock you.
Buddy, you're a young man, high and shouting in the streets, gonna take on the world someday. You got mud on your face, big disgrace, big waving your banner all over the place, singing, we will rock you. Sing it! We will rock you. So.
I paid my dues.
We wake up early the next morning to some uninvited guests in our tent, and some rain. We eat a breakfast of Pop-Tarts, Yoo-Hoo, and coffee. Everybody was up and eager to get started, so we started packing up to get ready for our second day.
I ain't got the blues anymore. I don't toss and turn at night, mama, I don't walk the floor. 'Cause ever since little mama came home, I found what I'm looking for. I'm gonna shine, a big sparkling shine. Everybody that I meet is gonna be a good friend of mine. I'm feeling fine, just fine as wine. Yeah. I can't frown for grinning, I can't lose for winning. I ain't got the blues anymore.
Not long into our second day, we stopped at a little island with a rocky area to take a break, eat some snacks, and stretch our legs a little bit. We also took some pictures like this one, set up on a timer, and this one taken by Uncle Dave. While we were there, I also had time to catch a little tadpole.
Caught a tadpole.
I was planning to keep the tadpole to raise to be a frog. While we were there, we also changed seats. I was in the front of the canoe, Kyron was in the back. It was his first time in the back of a canoe. A lot more responsibility.
I'm gonna shine, a big sparkling shine. Everybody that I meet is gonna be a good friend of mine. I'm feeling fine, just fine as wine. Yeah. I can't frown for granted, I can't lose for winning. I ain't got the blues anymore. No, ma'am. Hey, hey.
At some point throughout the day, the rain went from on and off to just a steady stream,
Starting to rain harder.
and it just continued to get worse throughout the day.
Alright, now go back to the left. Yeah, because there's a rock coming up.
But Kyron did get pretty good at steering the canoe,
It's raining pretty good now.
but the rain still continued to get worse and worse.
Yeah, we're getting some rain.
We had to stop so Kyron could use the bathroom, which put us pretty far back behind the group.
Stop the pee and then down.
We also switched seats when we were there, so I'm in the back and Kyron's back in the front.
Well, that's an adventure trying to get out of there. I think you killed my tadpole. You dumped it out and now it's somewhere in all our stuff in the middle.
Kyron thought the container my tadpole was in was just a regular water bottle with a cap on it. so he threw it back to me, and I didn't catch it, and spilled out all over our stuff.
It's coming down hard now. Real hard.
I also want to mention that me and Kyron had the same song stuck in our head, and we were singing it all day.
A short time to get there. I'm eastbound, oh, watch your bandit run. Eastbound and down. A short time to get there. I love this going on. Yeah, it is. So when we get up there, we're going to turn up this stream underneath the bridge, and then we're going to be paddling against the current, so it's going to be best. Yeah, that's probably the best thing we can do. Avoid that rock right there. I'm doing my best. I don't think my shirt's dry anymore, even underneath the raincoat. I think it went down the neck. We're getting hit hard. I said we're getting hit hard. There's the bridge. That's where we're going.
We turn up a little stream that flows into the river underneath this bridge to get to our takeout point in Keating. Notice how when we get upstream, I'm the only one paddling.
We're going upstream now.
By this point, the rain is just filling our boat with water. We decided that instead of paddling the boat upstream, it'd probably be easier to get out and walk alongside of it.
Oh, watch out! Be careful! Don't flip us! Don't flip us! Don't push the boat down.
Which made me a little nervous.
Okay. It's like waist deep over here.
Eventually we caught up to the rest of the group, pulling their boats upstream. We also saw a group of kids going down a little bit of rapid section, just floating in their life jackets.
Going down the river, having a good time. We're going up it.
This bridge marks our takeout point. It's the end of our 30-mile journey through the Pennsylvania wilderness. From there we take all our boats and supplies up to the road where Pep Jean left the car, get everything loaded on the trailer. On the ride home, everyone fell asleep if they were a kid or decided to adopt Catrillo's diet if they were an adult.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done?